Guys, it's Melanie, also known as Mel B Creates, and I want to show you how to make these really cool two-tone makeup bags with vinyl and glitter canvas vinyl. And if you're ready to learn how to make these, then please stay tuned. Alright, well first we got our supplies. You'll be needing a pattern. And what I've done is I've made one pattern that I've cut in half, one for the top and one for the bottom. So you'll need a pattern. I've also cut a lining for the inside of the bag. So if you actually happen to spill any makeup inside the bag, it won't ruin the fabric. So we have a lining that was also cut. And I just cut the lining out of the full shape of the pattern. You'll also need some canvas glitter vinyl. And this vinyl can be sewed on. It is not heat pressed. It is actually canvas backed. And I cut that from the bottom pattern. That's our bottom piece. Okay. And then you'll need the top piece, which is our canvas. Okay. As well as a zipper and a piece of actual heat transfer vinyl that I will show you guys how to weed out and make your design. And that's it. Alright guys, so we're in Silhouette Studio and I have written out the words makeup and stuff, and that's what I want to use to put onto my bag. So that's going to be the phrase makeup and stuff, and I've measured out the inches 7 by about 1 1/4 inch tall. So we're going to go ahead and get that set up to print, and then we're going to go over to our Silhouette Cameo. See you over there. Alright guys, and so now we're going to go ahead and load our Silhouette mat. I have the glitter vinyl cut to size because I don't like to waste vinyl, and so we're going to go ahead and get it started. Okay guys, and so I'm going to show you a little bit how to weed some of the vinyl. So we'll start there, and what I like to do is kind of use my hands to make sure. You see the M is coming out. So we have the M, and so that's kind of how I weed my vinyl. Just pull a little bit at a time, and then on some of the characters that have the insert there, pull that up. Okay, so I'll finish weeding and we'll come back and I'll show you how to heat press this. Alright, well off camera I added a couple more, I added some hearts and some little arrows just to give it a little bit more interest because the words were kind of small. And so we're going to heat press all of this onto the fabric. This is glitter vinyl with regular smooth vinyl with a heat press set at 360 degrees for about 15 seconds. Okay, so now that we have the words heat pressed onto our canvas, what you can do is just go ahead and you want to go ahead and peel that away and peel the backing. This is called a carrier sheet that I'm peeling away from the canvas. And now we've revealed our design. So we're going to go to the sewing machine and get this all put together and sew it up. So what I would normally do is, here's our zipper, and this is the front of our zipper, and this is the front of our makeup bag. And so what you want to do, this is the front of our zipper, the front of our makeup bag, and what you want to do is to turn this upside down and place the very top on this edge of the zipper. So it's like this, and then you put the interfacing underneath it even. So this is our, not interfacing, but our lining, and you put the lining behind it the other way, and you make that even, and then you sew it across the top, and I'll show you what that looks like when we're done. Okay guys, so just in the interest of time, what you would normally do is press this down. Here's our lining. And so once you do your stitching, you'll flip both of these so that the front of your bag now faces the front of the zipper, and then the inner facing, or the lining, faces the back of the zipper. And what we're going to do in order to kind of hold that in place and give it some visual interest is do a top stitch. And so what I'm going to do, I've changed the stitch length to 4, and I'm going to go ahead and top stitch. And remember, we back stitch. And so now that kind of gives it it locks that zipper into place, and it gives us some visual interest, which we'll take a look at when I'm done. And you can switch feet for your sewing machine. I just decided not to this time, once again, just to save time. And we'll cut these threads, and now you have a nice seam line there, and the fabric won't ride up. And so we're going to do the other side, and I'll show you how to put it all together. Okay, and so now we have both sides together, both sides finished. We have our zipper on, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the right sides and put them together, and the right sides of the lining, and put them together, and we're going to sew across. We're going to sew down the sides, across the bottom of the canvas vinyl, and down the side, and then a little bit of the interfacing, of the lining, because we need to keep this part open so we can flip the makeup case inside out. So I'm going to get to sewing, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, everybody, so we've sewn the bag together, and this is the inside of the bag, and I've used my peeking shears to cut around. And so now what we're going to do, the sides are sewn and everything's sewn, and we're going to flip this bag inside out. Okay, so you got to make sure the zipper is all the way open, and it's going to take me just a minute, but we're going to flip this bag inside out. So I left an opening at the bottom of the lining side, so we could flip this bag inside out, and it gets a little wrinkled, but I've lined it up pretty well at the bottom. As you can see, my lines are pretty even here, and so I've lined it up pretty well, and we want to poke out that inside, and that's going to be the bottom of our bag, right? And so now we have the bag turned inside out, and we're going to stitch up the bottom of the lining where we open that, and you're going to press this bag after we're done. But basically that's it. So I'll show you after it's all pressed and the lining is all sewn.